Good afternoon, guys. So let us start. We'll finish off all our remaining concepts of customs today. Okay. And you guys can start studying whatever doubts you guys have. You guys can ask me on WhatsApp, no problem. Okay. So we'll start with today directly. We'll start with the concept of warehousing procedure. Warehousing procedure. Okay. We have already looked at import procedure, export procedure. Okay. I have given you import and export both procedures. I have given you in detail. Okay. This will be your export. Sorry, this will be your warehousing procedure. Okay. All these procedures will be important for theoretical point of view. From the theoretical point of view, you might be asked these procedures. All right. So theory questions up to 10 marks, they can ask you theory questions up to 10 marks, but I think it will be more of sub questions. So let us say if there is a theory question of 10 marks, then it will be of 2 sub questions of 5 marks or 6 or 4 marks that way. All right. So warehousing. When do we do warehousing? The problem is that during the import of goods, till how many days can we keep the goods in the custom station, guys? Importer can keep goods in custom station. I told you that
30 days.
30 days, right? Till 30 days, na? And after 30 days, if the goods are not removed, what will happen? The customs will auction off the goods, right? Customs will auction off the goods. Okay. So there is no way the goods can be stored in custom station, right? Custom station. That's why what we do, that's why importers have this option. Importers have the option of warehousing. I'll always write warehouse by WH. Importers have the option of warehousing, right? So warehousing means what you can do. Okay, now pay attention, guys. This is very important. Warehouse is not a simple go down. It is not a simple storage place, right? Now see what happens. What happens? Generally, why warehousing is used? The importer can remove the goods from custom station even without payment of import duty, right? Even without payment of import duty, they can remove the goods from the custom station, right? Even without the payment of import duty, and then store the goods in government authorized warehouses by signing a bond with the customs station, by signing a bond with the customs authority. Okay. So see, if you are concerned that I don't have any storage place, right? So what I can do, I can remove the goods from the customs authority, from the custom station, even without payment of duty, and then store the goods in the government authorized warehouses by signing a bond, right? So here 2-3 things are important. I can do it even without payment of duty, even without payment of import duty, I can do it, correct? Then it has to be compulsorily, it has to be government authorized warehouses, okay? And signing a bond is also compulsory. So 3 things will be important when you look at warehouse procedure. Okay. So whenever we look at warehouse procedure, 3 things are going to be important. First, what is the first point? The need. The need is that you cannot keep it in custom station for more than 30 days. That's why the need of warehousing. Correct. So this was the need of warehousing. Okay. Now, how to do the warehousing? You can do it without payment of import duty. Correct. You can store it in government authorized warehouses by signing a bond with the custom authority. Let us look at them one by one. So section 57 and 58 deals with where to store the goods. Where to store the goods. Okay. The custom authority, the custom officer will allot you the warehouse. Will allot you the warehouse. You cannot decide on your own. Huh? Custom officer will allot you the warehouse. Okay. Section 57, because you are removing the goods without payment of duty. Huh? You are removing the goods without payment of import duty, right? So what is happening? Custom officer will allot you the warehouse. Section 57 is when custom officer allots you a government warehouse. It is not a government authorized warehouse. It is a warehouse of the ownership of government only. Custom officer allots you a government warehouse, correct? And section 58 is where the customs officer will allot you government licensed private warehouse. Government licensed private warehouse, right? So this is up to the decision of the customs officer where your this thing will be allotted. Okay, where your warehouse will be allotted. See if this is clear. Okay, so that is the first part. Step one in your warehousing procedure. Okay, so you can start the answer by writing what is the need of warehousing and how to do it, and then in detail step 1 2 3 4 5 you can give it in detail. Step 1 is custom officer is deciding where the goods will be stored. Right now the goods are, after step 1 the goods are still in customs authority custody. They have not gone into the warehouse. Step 2, before you remove the goods from custom station, right, and send to the warehouse, right, the importer was supposed to pay duty, right? If duty is not paid, what will happen? Section 59 says importer will have to sign a bond with the custom authority, okay, and the bond value will be twice the amount of duty which the importer was supposed to pay, right? The bond value is twice the amount of duty which the importer was supposed to pay. Now guys, pay attention. Huh? This is done so that the importer does not take undue advantage of warehouse. Okay, eventually importer will pay normal duty only. But if warehouse procedures are not properly followed, then this bond will get executed and you'll have to pay twice the amount of duty, right? So the final amount of duty is same as what importer was supposed to pay, okay. Bond will execute when warehouse procedures are not properly followed. If you follow the warehouse procedures, okay, you don't need to pay twice the duty. Huh? Only single duty, only the normal duty is payable. If you follow all procedures of warehouse, right? So if all warehouse procedures are followed, what will happen? Bond is nullified, right? Bond is nullified, and you only pay normal duty. Normal customs duty. Okay, you don't pay twice the amount. Bond is only for the purpose of the people who are not following warehouse procedure properly. Okay, warehouse has some restrictions. We'll see in the next sections. it is clear till here, section 1 and sorry, step 1 and step 2. Yes, I'll go a bit slow. So step 1 was what? Section 57 and 58. Section 57 and 58. Customs officer will choose which warehouse you will get. So let us say your goods are coming to Mumbai port. Your goods are coming to Mumbai port. What is happening? From Mumbai port, exactly which warehouse you will get, that is decided by customs officer. If you are given a government owned warehouse, that will be under section 57, government owned warehouse. And if you are given a government licensed private warehouse, that is private ownership, but it is licensed by government, it will be under section 58. So you can get either of the two warehouses. That was step 1. Now step 2 is what? You are removing the goods from the Mumbai port. Correct? You are removing the goods from the Mumbai port. So what you'll have to do? You'll have to sign a bond. And bond value will be twice the amount of duty. If you follow all warehouse procedures, bond is nullified. You only pay normal duty. Okay. And if you don't follow all warehouse procedures, okay, then you will end up paying twice the duty. Okay. Clear till here now? Let's proceed. Okay, now step 3. No doubt now, guys, till here, no doubt.
No,
Step 3, section 60. Yes.
Sir, initially you had told, right, importer can remove the goods even without payment of import duty. What does that mean exactly?
Here, this thing only, na, importer can remove the goods without payment of duty and send it to warehouse. But that time, what the importer will have to do? Importer will have to pay the importer will have to sign a bond.
Okay, so do they need to pay any extra charges for this warehouse facility?
Yes, warehouse facility. Obviously now, because government is giving you like a go down, like a storage place government is going to give you. So there will be rental charges.
Okay, sir.
Next doubt is any other warehouse charges that importer has to pay for 30 days. No, for the initial 30 days, you don't need to pay any warehouse charges, right? Because what is happening? It is the customs procedure. It is the import procedure. Once the import procedure is done and you have the time to remove the goods, at the time of removal of goods, you can directly take your goods to your factory. Otherwise, you will have to take your goods to warehouse. Does the time period of 30 days start from the date of arrival? Yes. The time of 30 days starts from the date of arrival. Okay. All right. So now section 60. Section 60 is once step 1 and 2 is done. Once you are allotted a warehouse and once you sign the bond, now what will happen? Now the custom officer will issue the order, that importer can remove the goods without payment of duty, correct? And importer can transfer the goods to the allotted warehouse. Passing this order is important. If you don't have the order of the customs officer, you cannot go to the warehouse. Okay, you don't have the order of the customs officer, you cannot go to the warehouse. Done. Next, step 4 will be section 61. Okay, maximum period. Now you have gone to the warehouse. Now you have taken the goods to the warehouse, right? So after goods are transferred to warehouse, okay, there will be maximum time period. In some cases, there will be maximum time period where you can store goods in warehouse, Okay. So the time period has been prescribed. By the government. Okay. So there is a doubt. can we take the goods to private warehouse only after duty payment and otherwise before payment only government warehouse? Doesn't matter, any warehouse. See, there are two options. First option is pay the duty, remove the goods and take to the warehouse. Then you don't need to sign a bond. Now you don't need to sign a bond. Correct? Second option is, okay, without payment of duty, sign a bond and take the goods to any warehouse that has been allotted to you, right? It doesn't matter it is a private warehouse or a government warehouse. All right, next. So once you take the goods to the warehouse, you cannot keep the goods for unlimited number of time. You cannot say that I am going to pay the rental charges, so let me keep the goods for 10 years. Okay, it is not going to happen. Okay, so 30 days limit is not there. Okay, the 30 days, the smaller 30 days limit is not there for warehouse, but still there is a limit for years. Okay, the question is, what is the meaning of bond? See, bond means what? Bond means it is a contract. It is a contract. Government is allowing you to remove the goods without payment of duty, na? So how will the government trust you? What if you are not paying the duty? Okay, you don't pay the duty. Take the goods, you say to the government, I will remove the goods and I'll transfer to the warehouse. Okay, and then after the goods come out of the your custom station, okay, you take the truck and go at your place without payment of duty, right? So government needs some kind of a assurity, that you will take the goods from custom station, you'll take those goods to warehouse, okay, and from warehouse first you'll pay the duty and then you will remove the goods from warehouse. So to do all this, government says, we don't trust you, you have to sign a bond. If some of the other in some or other way, if you don't follow any warehouse procedure, the bond will execute and now you'll have to pay 2 times the duty. Normal duty, anyways you have to pay the normal duty, okay, but because you have breached the provisions, right, you will have to pay twice the normal duty. Okay, is the bond value more than the total value of the goods imported? No. See, if the assessable value, for example, assessable value is 10 lakhs, okay, and BCD is 10%, okay, and SWS is 1% of BCD. 1% of BCD. Tell me how much is the duty value? Correct. This is BCD, correct, and this will be into 1%. My total duty value, duty value is what? Duty value is this 1 lakh plus 1000. This is my duty value, assuming there is no IGST, correct? So you were supposed to pay 1 lakh 1000 duty to Mumbai port, correct? And then only remove the goods from the port. Now what the Mumbai port is saying, it's okay, don't pay the duty now. Okay, remove the goods without payment of duty, sign a bond up to maximum value of the bond will be this amount into 2. Okay, sign a bond up to 2,02,000. Sign a bond up to 2,02,000. Okay, if all warehouse procedures are followed, okay, you end up paying how much? You end up paying only 1,01,000, which you are supposed to pay now. You end up paying only 1,01,000. Okay, and if warehouse procedures are not followed, okay, and you try to run away, correct, government will catch you, right, and government will take 2,02,000 from you. So means in short penalty of 100%. Now understood the whole concept of bond? Okay, so government says this duty, don't pay the duty at custom station. Okay, pay the duty when you finally decide to take the goods out of the warehouse. That time pay the duty. All right. Okay. So what is the maximum time limit you can keep the goods in the warehouse? That's what we are doing in section 1. So for capital goods of a company, in the sector of 100% EOU. What do you mean by EOU? Anyone knows? Export oriented undertaking. It's a company which is only manufacturing for export purposes. It's a company which is manufacturing only for the purpose of export. Okay, they will not sell in India. Okay, they will import the goods, manufacture them, and all their goods will be sold outside India. So those are 100% EOU. Those are 100% EOU. Okay, so if such a company is storing capital goods in the warehouse, okay, they can store up to 5 years, up to a maximum period of 5 years. See for whom it is applicable. For a company in the sector of EOU. For a company in the sector of EOU, EOU is export oriented undertaking. Okay, they can store capital goods. They can store capital goods. They can store capital goods up to how much time? They can store capital goods up to 5 years. Okay, maximum limit. Second is also for the same company. Yeah? Second is again for the same company. So for company in the sector of EOU, they can store other than capital goods. They can store other goods. Okay, capital goods is for up to 5 years, but for other goods, normal inputs, raw material, they can store up to 3 years. Maximum up to 3 years in the warehouse. They can store other goods in the warehouse in the warehouse up to 3 years. So if the both cases are understood, guys, just check. And for all other companies, for all other type of companies, they can store the goods maximum up to any type of goods. They can store any type of goods. Let it be capital goods or normal goods. They can store any type of goods up to in the warehouse up to 1 year. Up to 1 year. So those companies who are into exporting, they get a higher time limit because they are contributing to the economy by making exports. For all others, it is only up to 1 year. Is this clear? Once the goods are transferred in warehouse, you can keep them only up to a certain time limit. In sector of EOU means, EOU means what? The companies which are going to do export oriented undertaking. Okay, they are just going to export. None of their sale will be in India. Their entire sale will be outside India. Those are the companies in EOU. Okay, so doubt is this warehouse is only the government. No, see the procedure for government warehouse and private warehouse will remain same. Okay, the procedure for government warehouse and private warehouse will remain same. Okay, it's just that government warehouse are totally owned by the government, right? That's why the rental charges of the warehouse will be lower, and private warehouse are outsourced by the government. Okay, so their rental charges will be higher. Okay, the procedure of warehousing will remain same. Procedure of warehousing will remain same. Okay, next. Any doubt till here, guys? Done. Step 5. Step 5 is section 62. Section 62. The control of goods is not in the hands of owner. Okay, it is in the hands of warehouse keeper. Warehouse keeper, the owner of the warehouse or the person in charge of the warehouse. The control of goods, what to do with the goods, correct? How to store the goods. Okay, that all will be in the hands of owner. Okay, this will be there until goods are removed from warehouse, until the goods are removed from the warehouse. Okay, the custody of goods, the control of goods, ownership will not transfer to the warehouse keeper. Huh? Ownership will not transfer to the warehouse keeper, obviously. The control of how to store the goods, okay, where to store the goods, all that will be in the hands of the owner. So obviously, if there is any damage, what will happen? The warehouse keeper will pay for damage, pay for the damage. Is this clear? Section 62. Okay, next. Now step 6, section 65 says that the risk is taken by warehouse keeper. Yes, the risk is taken by warehouse keeper. Okay, right. Now section 65, the importer, now guys pay attention, this is a very important section. The importer can conduct manufacturing manufacturing process in the warehouse itself. No problem. Warehouse itself. Okay, that provision is also given by warehouses. The warehouses are so big that the warehouse will have their own factory within the warehouse. The importer can conduct manufacturing process in the warehouse itself. Okay, at additional charges payable to the warehouse. Okay, and if the value of the goods, I'll give you example. If the value of the goods increases due to manufacturing, no additional custom duty is payable. I'll give a simple example. Of section 65. Okay, so let us say I'm an importer, Mr. A. Mr. A is an importer. Of raw material who manufactures and sells finished goods. Okay, importer of raw material who manufactures and sells finished goods in Mumbai. So Mr. A, who is located, let us say in Delhi. Okay, Mr. A is located in Delhi, is an importer of raw material who manufactures and sells finished goods in Mumbai. Right. So now, when the raw material arrives from other country, okay, what Mr. A will do? Mr. A will remove the goods and send to warehouse in Mumbai only. His raw material has arrived in Mumbai. Okay, from other country. Mr. A's raw material arrived in Mumbai from other country. So Mr. A will remove the goods and send to the warehouse in Mumbai itself. Right. Now he will not take the goods from Mumbai to Delhi, then do the manufacturing in Delhi and then bring back to Mumbai. He will not do that. Why? Because he is selling the finished goods in Mumbai only, na? Right? Since the sale is in Mumbai only, itself, right? The warehouse gives permission to Mr. A to finish his manufacturing process. In the warehouse itself. So that Mr. A's transportation from Mumbai to Delhi and Delhi to Mumbai gets saved. Understood? Section 65, what is happening? But obviously the warehouse keeper will charge additional expenses, because warehouse keeper is not only allowing the owner to store the goods, but the warehouse keeper is also allowing the owner to conduct manufacturing process. Understood section 65, everyone? Okay, so that is step 6. Now step 7, last step. So step 7 will be section 68 and 69. 68 and section 69. Now, once warehousing, the purpose of warehousing is solved. The purpose of warehousing is done, right? The owner will have to remove the goods and pay the customs duty over here, because initially the customs duty were not paid, na? Initially, while removing from the Mumbai port, customs duty were not paid, right? So once the purpose of warehousing is done, the owner will have to remove the goods and pay the custom duty. Once duty is paid, what will happen? The bond which was signed, what will happen to the bond? Will get lapsed, right? The bond will get nullified. It will get lapsed, zero, because now I have paid the duty. I have followed all the procedure, right? I can remove the goods and take to my place, or I can do whatever with my goods once the duty is paid. See if this is clear. Last step, right? So what is section 68 for? 68 is says that the importer wants to remove the goods, correct, and take it to his factory. Okay, take it to his factory / showroom or whatever, or to take it directly to his customers, whatever, right? So in this case, the importer pays the actual duty, right? So here he is going to remove the goods, right, and take it to his factory in India, factory, showroom, customers. In this case, importer pays the actual duty. Now see section 69C. Pay attention, guys. In this case, importer wants to remove the goods and re-export the goods, these goods, okay, without bringing them to his factory, to his factory. Now you guys tell me, we have learned this, what will happen in this case? Imported goods are re-exported. What will happen in this case?
Sir, refund of duty.
Right. What is it called? Duty drawback, na? We'll get duty drawback. Correct. Up to how much percentage you had learned? Up to
98.
Right. Up to 98% duty drawback, and only remaining duty has to be paid. So if you are removing the goods, and taking to your factory, you'll have to pay entire import duty. And bond will get lapsed. Bond will get nullified. If you are removing the goods and re-exporting means you are contributing to the economy, right? So if you are re-exporting these goods without bringing them to the factory, in this case, the importer will get duty drawback up to 98%. Duty drawback means refund. Will get duty drawback, that is refund of import duty, up to 98%, and only the remaining duty has to be paid by the importer. If this entire warehousing concept is clear to everyone, done. Warehousing is done. This was the last step. Example of goods that can be assembled anywhere, like in warehouse without machinery. Yes, section 65. For example, what I am going to do, I am going to let us say buy computers, buy all the parts of computers, or parts of computers separately, right? Then I am going to what? I'm going to assemble them, install operating system, and pack and export them. Why do I need machinery for that, right? And basic packing machinery will be there at the warehouse. warehouse, like I said, these warehouses are so huge. These warehouses are so huge that they have a factory inside it. So basic manufacturing processes can be done in these warehouses. Understood this example? Right? So then what the importers will do? Importers will not get these from Mumbai to Delhi, then do the process in Delhi, then bring back to Mumbai, and from Mumbai again export it. So they will not do that. They will do it in the warehouse itself, and they will remove the goods from warehouse and directly export them. So a lot of time and money is saved because of these warehouses. Okay, clear? Entire warehouse procedure is clear to everyone? Okay. So quickly I'll tell you, section 57 and 58. The custom officer will allot the warehouse. 57 is for government owned warehouse. 58 is for government licensed private warehouse. So step 1 is warehouse is allotted. Step 2 is you are removing the goods from custom station, right? You are removing the goods from the custom station from the Mumbai port. So you have to remove it without payment of duty. Then you have to sign a bond. You have to sign a bond. Once the warehouse is allotted and bond is signed, section 60 custom officer will issue the order of warehousing, that the goods are allowed to be sent to warehouse. Then section 61, you take the goods to warehouse and store them in the warehouse, but the storage is up to a certain limit. For EOU companies, capital goods, they can store up to 5 years. For EOU company, other goods, they can store up to 3 years. Okay. And for all other companies, they can store the goods up to 1 year. Right. Then section 62 is control. Warehouse keeper has the control. Section 65 says importer can manufacture within the warehouse itself also, no problem. And 68, 69 is final removal of goods after payment of duty. Okay, so the next question is, in case you want to keep the goods for more than a year, can we renew the bond despite limit being only up to 1 year? Yes, you can renew the bond. Okay, but then government will say we want our duty payment to be done, because we are already allowing you up to 1 year to go without payment of duty, right? So you have to pay the duty then. Even if you have to store it for more than 1 year, you'll have to by default pay a duty and renew the bond. Okay. All right. So that is the whole warehouse procedure. Quite a lengthy procedure. Just like import, warehouse procedure is also a bit lengthy. All right. So these 3 procedures: import procedure, export procedure, and warehouse procedure. Okay. All these 3 procedures are important for your theoretical type questions. Okay, done. Warehousing is done. Any doubt? Any doubt in warehousing, guys? No? Let us go on to the next concept then. Okay. So next concept is classification of goods. Classification of goods under customs. Okay. Because on the basis of the nature of the goods, the duty rate keeps on changing, right? The classification is important. Classification is important to know the rate of duty applicable to our goods, applicable to the importer's goods, right? This classification is done under a system called as, anyone knows it? HSN, right? HSN, harmonized system of nomenclature. Harmonized system of nomenclature. Very easy. Very easy. Government has given codes, 8-digit code, right? On the basis of the 8-digit code, this system will be classifying your goods. Okay. So let me explain the classification with the help of example. That will be very easy for you guys to understand how the goods are classified. Okay. So classification is important to know the rate of duty. Okay. Because if your goods fall under different class, the rate of duty might be different. If your goods fall under zero rated classification, you don't have to pay duty. You don't have to pay duty, right? So that's why classification becomes very important. Classification becomes very important. Okay. So the HSN is the system of classification. HSN classifies the goods as per their description, and usage. Okay, description and usage. What is the description of goods and why these goods are going to be used, where these goods are going to be used. Okay, so HSN gives 8-digit code for classification. Okay, HSN gives a 8-digit code for classification, right? First 2 digits are for chapter. Okay, first 2 digits are your chapter headings. Main heading of the good. I'll give the example. Okay, let me first write this. First 2 digits are for the chapter headings, the main heading of the goods. Okay, next 2 digits are, so I'll write chapter. I'll not write chapter heading, because I'll just write chapter, because next 2 digits are for heading. Okay. Under chapter, there will be different types of headings. Okay. I'll give an example. Let me first write this down. The next 2 digits will be for subheading. Under the heading, again, further classification, subheading. And the last 2 digits will be for our actual tariff entry, tariff item. Tariff item means the rate of duty will be decided here, If this is clear, guys. Okay, so example, HSN code. I'll write an example and I'll try to explain. Then maybe if you understood or not. So HSN code was 07031010. This is a HSN code. So 07 becomes what? 07 is for what? Chapter. So the goods fall under the 7th chapter. Okay, and the 7th chapter, the name of the 7th chapter is edible vegetables, roots and tubers. The heading of the chapter, the name of the chapter is edible vegetables, roots and tubers. So if you are importing any kind of edible vegetables, any kind of roots, any kind of tubers, then it will fall under this chapter. But now there are so many varieties of edible vegetables, right? Vegetables are different, roots are different, correct? So next 03 will be what? 03 will be for heading. 03. So in chapter number 7, 01 will be for edible vegetables, 02 will be for tubers, and 03 will be for roots, right? So 03 will be for roots like onion, shallots, garlic, okay, and leeks, etc. That is all kind of roots, okay. The chapter was for 3 things. Edible vegetables, roots and tubers, correct? But under this chapter, the third heading is only for roots. First heading will be for vegetables, second heading will be for tubers, and third heading will be for roots. Now in roots, next 10 is your subheading. In roots also we have fresh/chilled roots, okay, sorry, fresh/chilled roots of only onion and shallots. So out of these roots, onion, shallots, garlics, leeks, etc. Correct? There will be lot of subheadings. One subheading for garlic, one subheading for leeks. Okay, that way. The subheading number 10 is for fresh / chilled roots of onions and shallots. And then again the next 10 is again the final tariff item, that is fresh / chilled onions, only onions, not onions and shallots, only onions. Correct? So this is how I'll classify it as per chapter. In chapter, in what heading? In heading, in what subheading, and in subheading, in what tariff item. Is this clear to everyone, guys? How do I classify as per HSN code? Okay, so this is the main description. Chapter gives the main description. Then chapter is further divided as per the heading, into the heading. And then subheading will give different categories. And my final item will fall under the tariff entry. Final item will fall under tariff entry.
So, sir, what kind of question can we expect from this?
What can be the
So, question expected.
expected question will be explain classification of goods. That's it. Classification of goods under customs, or the question might be explain the harmonized system of nomenclature under custom and GST. For GST also same logic. For GST also same logic. Huh? Classification of goods, customs. So this classification is given by NACIN. This classification is generally done by NACIN. Okay, National Academy of Customs, Indirect Tax and Narcotics. All right. They help in the so it is given by the act, but the NACIN guys help us to classify. Okay, so question on classification of goods, you can write this example, right? Question on HSN, harmonized system of nomenclature, you can write this example. Is this clear, everyone? Now there are additional rules under classification. Huh? Additional rules under classification. Okay, so in that, first is if an item falls in two different chapters, right, or in two different headings, then what to do? Okay, if an item falls in two different chapters or two different headings, then in which chapter or which heading should I take it? We will take it in that chapter or heading which gives it the best description, okay, whichever chapter or whichever heading gives the best description, I will classify my item under that chapter or heading. Okay, so for example, the same example of onions, right? Edible vegetable roots was one example. Okay, edible, or let us say I'll take a different example. Let's not confuse. So for example, I am purchasing a coconut oil. I am importing coconut oil. Coconut oil can be either in oils, correct? Oils, that is in the chapter of toiletries, right? Toiletries, whatever the spelling, or it can be under edible oil, right? It can be under edible oils, etc. So that is under consumption. Okay, so we'll ask the company what is the purpose, right? What is the usage? Like I said before, what is the usage of this coconut oil? If they are selling it as an edible oil, then classifying it under oils does not make sense. Classifying it under oils does not mean classifying it under toiletries does not make sense. You have to classify it under edible oils. So if this additional rule is clear, okay. So if an item falls in two different chapters, this example, I have given this example of coconut oil. Coconut oil can fall into two different chapters, in toiletries and in edible oils, right? So here in this case, classifying it under edible oil will make more sense. Will make more sense because the rate of toiletries is different and the rate of consumption oils is different. So it is clear, guys. So it can be either hair oil or it can be edible oil, right? So we'll ask the company for the usage. Okay, why, what purpose the usage is going to be done, and then we'll classify it whichever makes more sense, whichever chapter which gives it the best description. Okay. If a item does not fall into two different chapters, then simple, just take in that particular chapter. No. If an item does not fall in two different chapters, it falls in only one chapter, then we don't need to worry. Okay, these additional rules are only in case of different kind of goods. Second, you guys already know, if an item falls under composite supply, if an item falls under composite supply, you guys know this, then which chapter should I take?
Principal.
Right, very good. Then the chapter of the principal supply, will apply to the current item as well, I hope you guys remember composite supply, huh? We have done in GST, right? So in that case, whichever chapter of the principal supply is there, that same chapter will apply for the composite supply, for the item under composite supply also. All right. Third, if there is no specific chapter, if the goods imported are of a new category, okay, and there is no specific chapter, what will happen? Then I will not pay import duty, right? Because there is no classification. If the goods are of new category, innovative goods, okay, it is not there in customs, okay, and there is no specific chapter defined under customs, should I take it duty free then?
There'll be another.
But there is right now, there is no new law, there is no chapter. So the importer says that there is no chapter under customs under which my goods can be classified, so I should take them duty free. Will the government allow it?
No.
No. Then the government will apply Akin rule. Apply Akin, AKIN, Akin. What do you mean by Akin in English? Find the closest chapter which will match the description of the goods, right? Government will try to find the closest chapter, right? Closest code which will match the description of the goods. Okay. Even if 100% match is not there, that's okay. Match is not there, still okay. The new goods will be classified as per the closest match. Okay. Import duty will be paid. Import duty will have to be paid. Government will not leave you. Government will say you have imported it, you will have to pay the import duty. Even if there is no specific chapter which defines your category of goods, still you have to pay the import duty. We'll apply the Akin rule. We'll try to find out the closest match. Okay. Any doubt till here, guys? Classification is clear now. Okay, next. And the last part is for accessories also. For accessories, also we take the chapter of the principal supply. Chapter of the principal supply. So for example, I am importing a guitar case. Okay, the importer is importing only a guitar case, not the guitar, and not the guitar. Right? What will happen now? This will be classified. This will be classified under the chapter of guitar, not under the chapter of packaging. It will be classified under chapter guitar, okay, and not under packing material, not under packing material. If this example is clear. All right. So for accessory also we take the chapter of the principal supply. So you are only importing the case. Okay. You are only importing the case. You are not importing the guitar. You already have the guitar. You are just importing the case. Still that will be classified under the chapter of guitar and not under the chapter of packing material. All classification rules are clear. Any doubt, guys? Any doubt over here? These are all theoretical concepts that I'm teaching. These are all theoretical concepts that I'm teaching. Valuation we have done. We have done with valuation. We have done with the questions. Okay. And additional rules of valuation also we'll do today. So today we have started with warehouse procedure. That was completely theoretical. And now we have done classification of goods under custom using the harmonized system of nomenclature. 8-digit code for chapter, heading, subheading, and tariff. Okay. And apart from this 8-digit code, there are additional rules for classification if there is confusion. So this is in case of confusion, right? In case of confusion, what to do? Government has already given 4 additional rules with examples. You can just remember the example, guys. You can just remember the example. It will be easier for you to understand. Yes, any doubt? No doubt, no? Let us move then. Let us move ahead. Okay, I'll take that as a yes. Silence amounts to acceptance. Okay, there is a doubt. Mr. A sold a building to Mr. B for consideration of 10 lakhs, which is paid on installment. Shall it come GST? GST will do it later now. Right now, we'll only focus on customs. And whatever doubts you have, you ask me at the end of the lecture or you ask me on WhatsApp then. Okay. Next. So next will be your valuation. Additional valuation rules. These will be your additional valuation rules. All right, additional valuation rules. First, we have already looked at, correct? So these are apart from assessable value. These are apart from the assessable value. Okay, we have already looked at assessable value. We know how to calculate the assessable value. Okay, we know how to calculate the assessable value. Apart from assessable value, there are certain additional valuation rules. Okay, and I'll tell you why these rules are applicable. Because of these additional classification rules, you have additional valuation rules also. Okay, let us see them one by one. Very easy to understand. Very easy to understand. Number one, you guys will only tell me. You guys will only tell me. Okay, if exporter and importer are related persons, and value of exports is shown as 0 by the exporter. That is, exporter is showing it as a gift, showing it as a gift. What will happen? How do we calculate the value then?
Market value.
Market value, right? It will be the assessable, the value will be the market value of similar or identical goods. First identical, find out identical goods, find out their market value. If identical goods are not there, use the Akin rule, find out similar goods and find their value, find their market value. Simple. Okay. So where buyer and seller, that is exporter and importer are both related persons, and export is shown at a very insignificant amount. Okay. Exporter is showing it as a very less amount. Okay. So then government will say that's not allowed. We'll have to show the value as market value of identical or similar good. First, we will find out whether there are any identical goods like that. If identical goods are there, take the market value of those identical goods, apply that value to the importer. Importer will have to pay that duty on the market value, not on that lesser amount. If identical goods are not there, find out similar goods. Akin rule, right? Similar goods means Akin rule. Find out the similar goods, take their market value and apply duty on that market value. Understood first valuation rule? Simple. What happened today? You guys are not responding, huh? Is it because of theoretical questions? Is it going too fast, guys? Is this going too fast? The theory? No, na?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. So next is deductive value. This will be for numericals, huh? This will be for numericals. That is basically for your objective type questions. Okay, objective type questions, because it is easy to understand. Deductive value. Okay. So this will be applied. This valuation will be applied when market value of similar / identical goods cannot be found out. The total market value of similar or identical goods cannot be found out. This was the first additional rule, right? That in that case, if the valuation is not known, just take the market value. Now the second rule will be when market value cannot be found out, then that time we'll calculate here the custom officer will calculate deductive value of identical / similar goods. Actually calculate, because market value is not available, market value is not known. Okay, I'll say market value is not known, right? So in that case, the custom officer will calculate deductive value of the identical or similar goods, right? Now pay attention, this is very important, guys. Deductive value is equal to the price per unit of the item, okay, of the similar item, I'll say similar item, which is sold in the maximum quantity in the market. Okay, this is price per unit, right? This is price per unit, and this will be multiplied by total units imported. Right? So you will get what? You will get the gross deductive value. I'll give an example, don't worry, I'll give an example. You'll get the gross deductive value, and then you adjust means you deduct from this number one any kind of commission. Okay, any kind of commission, any kind of what I can say, usual costs like transportation and insurance. and insurance. So I'll just write transportation and insurance because those are the specific ones. Transportation cost and insurance. Okay. And the third will be any kind of custom duty, because I'm going to charge custom duty now. I'm going to charge custom duty now. So any kind of custom duty paid will be deducted. Right. So we'll start with price per unit. This price per unit, this price per unit of similar item which is sold in the maximum quantity. I'll give an example. Maximum quantity in the market into total units imported by the importer. So into, I'll say actual units imported by the importer. That will give me gross deductive value. From that, you will deduct three things: commission, transportation cost, and insurance, and custom duty. So finally, you will get the net deductive value. Net deductive value. We'll take an example of this. So this value has been calculated by the customs officer. This value has been calculated by the customs officer. And here only the first line becomes important. Take the price per unit of the similar item which is sold in the maximum quantity or maximum lot in the market. Maximum quantity or maximum lot in the market. MQT is market, in the market. Okay. Then you multiply it by actual units, you get the gross deductive value. You adjust for three expenses, you get the net deductive value. Okay. Example. I'll take an example. Mr. A had imported 5,000 let us say bottles of a chemical which is not known to the Indian market, right? Which is not known to the Indian market. Okay, same type of example only I'm taking. I'm taking the same kind of example. So Mr. A had imported 5,000 bottles of a chemical which is not known to the Indian market. Okay. Right. So valuation is not known, right? Valuation is not known. Valuation is not known. Correct. But the customs officer found a similar chemical, which was being sold by different manufacturers as follows. Okay. Number one, Mr. B sells 2,500 bottles at 20 rupees per unit. Okay. Number two, Mr. C sells 2,700 bottles at 22 rupees per unit. Mr. D sells 2,800 bottles at 19.5 rupees per unit. 19.5 rupees per unit. Okay. Find out the deductive. Find out the gross deductive value in hands of Mr. A. Simple. Only tell me the gross deductive value for now.
Mr. D.
We'll take the rate as per Mr. D, right? Because Mr. D sells at the maximum quantity. Okay. So in this case, the solution is that deductive value is on the basis of maximum quantity. That is, in our case, we take the rate of Mr. T, that is 19.5 rupees per unit. 19.5 rupees per unit, right? So therefore, the gross deductible value will be what? In hands of Mr. A. Value in hands of Mr. A will be, tell me guys, it will be 19.5 per unit, and into how many units? Mr. A has imported how many units? Actual units imported by Mr. A.
5,000.
5,000 bottle, na? 5,000 bottle. My gross deductive value in hands of Mr. A will be what? Will be simple, will be 5,000 into 19.5. 97,500. And now if the question says something, right, less number one commission, if any, right, if there is any commission per unit given, you take commission into 5,000 bottles, commission per unit into 5,000 bottles, commission if any, right? Number two, transport charges or insurance if any, transport / insurance if any, correct? And number three, your duties if any. So for example, let us say Mr. D sales. So all these people were selling this inclusive of transport charges of 1 rupee. All these Mr. B, Mr. C, Mr. D are selling this at 20 rupees per unit inclusive of transport charges of 1 rupee per unit. Then what will happen? Here I can just do -1 into 5,000 transport charges. If they are having commission of 0.5 rupees per unit into 5,000. Okay, or here only you can take 19.5 minus commission 0.5 minus 1 transport charges. So that will give you net value per unit and multiply by 5,000. Is the same thing. See if this is clear, guys. Okay. So these three charges will be deducted only if it is there. Otherwise, you will not deduct. The gross deductive value will be your final answer. Is this example clear to everyone? Okay, right. So that is your deductive value. Guys, pay attention now. When to use deductive value, that is important. If market value is already known, if the market value of this new kind of chemical is already known, can I use deductive value?
No, sir.
No, first choice is market value. If market value is not known, then go for deductive value.
But here, the customs officer is looking at similar bottles, right? So it's kind of akin, right?
Akin rule. It will be Akin rule. Done. Okay. So this is very easy. The calculation is very easy. So this will be more of a multiple choice question. Okay. The question will be like 6-7 lines, but you can just look at the question, choose the maximum quantity. Maximum quantity is for Mr. D. Take this rate, multiply by the actual quantity imported by the importer. Done. And if there is any of these three charges are there, just deduct them. If any of these three charges are there, only these three charges are, not anything else. Only if these three charges are there, deduct them. Per unit into 5,000, per unit into 5,000, per unit into 5,000. Done. You'll get the net deductive value. Yes. If value of imports is asked, then we take the net deductive value, right? Okay. But if there is no commission, transport or duties, gross deductive value becomes my value of import. Na? All right. Understood this second valuation method. First valuation method was what? Take the market value. Okay. If the actual value of imported goods is not known, take the market value of identical or similar goods. Okay. If the market value is also not known, then custom officer will actually calculate the value with the help of deductive value method.
So here, the duties, if any, what are duties? Does it?
Sorry, what happened?
The third point, duties if any.
Huh.
So what are duties?
Ah,
which
so
are
okay, so for example, this is 19.5 rupees per unit, inclusive of 2 rupees GST. Then what we'll do? I want basic price. No, I want basic price. GST is a tax of India, right? So I want duties and taxes, if any, I'll have to exclude. So for each of this, for let us say this is also inclusive of let us say 2.5 rupees GST. Okay, and this is inclusive of 3 rupees GST. So anyway, I don't care right now. I don't care. First, what is the first step? Choose the rate of the maximum bottles. Choose the rate of the maximum bottles. So I have to choose the rate of Mr. D. Now while choosing, yes, I'm coming to your doubt, Shadman. So while choosing Mr. D's rate, what rate should I take? 19.5 was the rate, but I will do minus 2. So it will be 17.5 into 5,000. Or you can do gross deductive value is 19.5 into 5,000, and duties is what? Duties is 2 into 5,000. It will give me the same answer. Okay. So this will be 19.5 minus 2, 17.5 into 5,000 will be directly the answer of net deductive value. Or you can calculate gross deductive value first, deduct these, correct? You'll get net deductive value. Any which way you want, you can do it, no problem. Okay, in the example, okay. I just read your this thing right now. In the example, if Mr. C and D both are selling 2,800 bottles, what now, guys? If Mr. C and D both are selling equal amount of bottles, what now? Which rate? Higher rate or lower rate?
higher rate?
Higher rate, because customs will always be charged at higher rate. Okay, then the burden of proof will be on the importer to prove that my bottles are similar to Mr. C's bottle and not to Mr. My bottles are similar to Mr. D's bottle and not with Mr. C's bottle. If there is a match, if both Mr. C and D both are selling 2,800 bottles, then customs will always take the higher rate, not the lower rate. Customs will say, for us similar is the higher one. If you think that Mr. D's lower one is similar, prove it to us. Burden of proof lies on the importer, not on the custom authority.
Sir,
Yes.
what if it is sold at a profit?
Which profit?
Like 19.5 rupees inclusive of like 25%.
But it is price per unit. No, it is not cost per unit. Here we are taking price per unit. No. This thing is price means what? Price means inclusive of profit margin. Customs is not charged on cost. Na? Customs is charged on the final value. Value means what? Price. Price means inclusive of profit. Okay. Otherwise, I would have written cost per unit. No, I would have written cost per unit. Or I would have written price per unit, and here I would have deduct fourth as profit margin. Understood your doubt now?
Yes.
Okay. Now next valuation method is very simple. It is the computed value. Computed value is generally done for calculating the FOB. Calculating FOB value, right? If let us say FOB value is also not given in the question, right? If the FOB value is also not given in the question, in your BCom FOB values are given. FOB values are always given. Okay. So if FOB value is not given, you have to prepare what? Computed value means what? In short, prepare a cost sheet. Right. So that will be your direct material plus direct labor plus direct expenses gives me what? Gives me total prime cost. Gives me the total prime cost, right? Prime cost, or all, I can also call it as direct cost. Okay. In this direct cost, you'll add what? You'll add 3 types of overheads, Which are the three types of overheads? Factory overheads, admin overheads. I hope you guys have done this in costing, na? And
Yes,
selling
sir.
overheads. So you'll get what? You'll get the total cost. You'll get the total cost. Okay. And in total cost, add a profit margin. Add a profit margin, right? You'll finally get what? You'll finally get your FOB value. Okay. And now, whatever is after FOB value, you guys know. After FOB value, you guys know what to do. So basically, add all the cost, all the direct cost, all the factory cost, all the administrative overheads cost, and all your selling and distribution cost. Okay, these are costs in the hand of exporters, huh? In the hands of exporter. Okay, then you get total cost. Exporter will also charge profit margin, and then finally it will become FOB value. It will become the FOB value. Okay, done. Is this clear? But this value is not there for you guys, huh? This value is not there for you guys in BCom. Calculation of computed value is not there. So if they ask you what is computed value is all basic costs plus profit margin. That gives me the computed value. All right. Simple. And then last value is your residual value. Okay. So this is applied if none of the above valuation rules can be undertaken, right? Then only this method will be applied, and the value will be the value in hands of local sellers. What is the value in the hands of local sellers? Local means in that city, in that area. Okay, whatever will be the value in the hands of local sellers, that will be the value for the purpose of customs also. But this is only the last step. Huh? This is only the last step. If any of the above methods cannot be followed, right? If any of the above methods cannot be followed, right? Then only we'll take residual value.
Here the local sellers refers to India or the outside.
India. Local for Indian customs. Local seller will be what? India. And
So
let us say, sorry.
It's not there available among local sellers.
It will be there, na? It will be there. Then you will take similar. You will take value of similar items sold by local sellers. So value of identical / similar goods sold by the local sellers.
But they can consider the amount paid by the importer as well for locally sourcing it.
But that's what the problem is, na? Importer is saying, I am taking it from another country, right? I am taking it from another country. I am taking it from a related person. So I am getting it at a insignificant value. Then government has to do the valuation somehow, na? So first government will see if the above valuation rules are possible. If no, then government will charge value of identical similar goods sold by the local sellers. Okay. Government will somehow come to the value. And in local sellers value, in the residual value, you do not calculate the deductive value. You will just take the local seller average value of the local sellers. You will not take the concept of deductive value. You don't take the maximum lot sold into unit price. That you will not do. You will just see locally this item is for how much. On an average, this item is available for how much in the local market. You will take that value. Okay. Residual value is the last step of valuation. If the customs authority do not have any other way of valuation, they will stick to residual value. All right. Done. And now we'll also see some additional duties. Okay, additional duties. Next, last concept, additional duties. This is apart from BCD, SWS and IGST. Okay, these are apart from BCD, SWS and IGST. Oops, where did my this thing go? Apart from BCD, SWS and IGST. Okay, these are only in exceptional cases. These are only in exceptional cases. So theoretical, this will be again theoretical. These additional duties are only in exceptional cases. Okay, so basically you will just have BCD, SWS and IGST. Yeah, you will have BCD, SWS and IGST. These additional duties are in exceptional cases. Only in exceptional cases they will be levied. They will be levied by the Indian government. Okay. Any doubt in valuation, guys? Should we do this duties wala part? Any doubt in valuation? Customs valuation? Okay. So additional duties. First additional duty is your protective duty. Yes, today is our last class. Protective duty is levied by the government to protect domestic manufacturers. Okay. If the government thinks that because of importing, the domestic product is getting affected, government will charge additional duty called as protective duty. As the name suggests, it is just levied just because the domestic market is getting affected because of import, right? If the domestic market is getting affected because of import, right? What will the government do? Government will charge protective duty. Simple. Countervailing duty is levied by government. It is again levied by the government on those exporters who get subsidy from their country. This is again to protect the domestic manufacturers. See the difference. Okay, so for example, I am purchasing a product from China. The Chinese government has given subsidy. Chinese government says no manufacturing duty, no GST, right? No VAT, nothing. You are exporting for China, so we are giving you subsidy for our export. Because of subsidy, what happens? That product becomes very cheap. Because of subsidy in their country, subsidy in the country of the exporter, product becomes very cheap, right? The product value becomes very cheap, so the importer gets the product at cheap value, right? Importer gets the product at cheap value. Why? Since the seller was getting a subsidy, right? So then government is worried that our manufacturers will also start asking for subsidy. Our domestic manufacturers will say that the imported material is very cheap because their country is offering subsidy to their manufacturers. So we also want subsidy, right? So government says instead of that, we will make this product costly. If we make this product costly, our Indian manufacturers will not say anything. So that is countervailing duty. Contra means for the other country. Because of the subsidy of the other country, Government of India is charging additional duty. So if you understood the difference between protective duty and contravailing duty. There's a difference between the two, huh? Guys, see if you understood this. I'll explain the difference once more. In protective duty, I am just worried that my manufacturers, my domestic manufacturers, are losing out on their product. That's it. There is no other reason. I'm just afraid that my domestic manufacturers are not able to compete, right? Right here, example, government thinks domestic manufacturers are not able to compete. Like this happened in 90s. Everyone was taking imported cars. No one was taking Maruti, right? No one was taking the Indian manufactured car, right? So government was worried that Indian manufacturer will not be able to compete. So just to protect the competition, government charged the protective duty. Contravailing duty is completely different. Okay, contravailing duty is what? The imported product has become cheap. Why it has become cheap? Because the exporter's country had given them subsidy. Subsidy means benefit, right? Subsidy means a benefit. The exporter's country had given them a subsidy, that is benefit. Because of the benefit given by the other country, right, the product has become cheap. So import will be more, right? For a cheap product, import will be more. Government doesn't want that. So again, government will charge contravailing duty. Contra means what? Because of other country. So always remember, this duty is charged because of subsidy given in another country. Understood this? Now, anti-dumping duty. This is a very important duty, especially when Indian market is competing with Chinese market. Okay, this is a very this anti-dumping duty was introduced for that purpose. Okay, this was introduced by India, by the Indian government. Okay, to stop or to reduce imports from China. Okay, this was specifically introduced just to curtail the imports from China. This happened in case of Chinese mobile. This used to happen in case of Chinese mobile. The Chinese mobile we used to get at a very low cost in India. See what used to happen here. The Chinese seller, example, I'll give the example. This is a very interesting case study of anti-dumping duty. Yeah? The Chinese seller, okay, sold the mobile phone in China for, let us say, 10,000 rupees. 10,000 rupees, that is converted into India. Okay, after converting yuan to rupees. Okay, so let us say in Indian rupees context, the Chinese seller sold the mobile phone in China for, let us say, 10,000 rupees, correct? And just to capture the Indian market, these Chinese seller, what they did? These Chinese seller sold the same phones in India for just 3,500 rupees. So they are selling at a loss, na? In their own country, they are selling at normal value. And in the Indian market, they are selling at a loss. Why are they selling at a loss in the Indian market? Just to capture the Indian market, right? Once they capture the Indian market, once they become a monopoly in the Indian market, what they will do? They will start increasing the price, right? So government said this is dumping your product. This is dumping your product in India, okay, just to get hold of the Indian market, just to get hold of the Indian market, right? Then in this case, Indian government will levy anti-dumping duty of directly 10,000 minus 3,500. Okay, that is how much? 6,500 rupees duty. The product was 3,500 rupees. The Chinese seller was selling the product for 3,500 rupees, and the Indian importers had to pay a duty of 6,500 rupees. The duty paid was more than the value of the product, was double the value of the product, right? So that's why in such case, what will happen? In such case, importers stopped importing such goods. Okay, so basically Indian government stopped the Chinese seller from controlling the Indian market, from getting a monopoly in the Indian market. So if you understood this example, anti-dumping duty example, why 6,500 rupees is duty? 6,500 rupees will be duty payable. So the value of mobile imported is only 3,500 rupees. Value of mobile imported is only 3,500 rupees. But the anti-dumping duty will be 6,500 rupees. See if this is clear, guys. Anti-dumping duty. Okay. And fourth is cess. Cess we discussed yesterday. Education cess. Education cess. Two types of education cess. Higher education cess, secondary and higher secondary, and higher secondary education cess. Why? Because government of India is giving all information free of cost, right? All information is given free of cost, right? So to provide such information, government is just charging. Government is charging cess, education cess. Government is educating the importers, right? So that's why government is charging the education cess. Okay, so education cess is not actually a duty; it is just like a charges. Okay, it will be just like charges. Done. See if everything is clear, guys. Yes, so how it's free of cost? It will no longer be free of cost then. Correct. Because education says eventually government is recovering from the importer only. Na? So technically it does not remain free of cost then. It will not remain free of cost. Okay. So today we have done additional duties apart from BCD, SWS and IGST. We have also done additional valuation methods apart from assessable value, right? We have done classification of goods and we have done warehousing of goods. All theoretical topics. All of these are theoretical topics. Very important, guys. Please don't ignore theory. Okay. Don't just focus on the practical. Please focus on the theory also. Theory is important from the point of view of MCQs also and from the point of view of theoretical questions also. Is that clear? Okay, yes. Now let us see the doubts. Mr. A sold a building to Mr. B for consideration of 10 lakhs, which is paid on installments. Shall it come under GST? See, what happens in case of buildings is that if the building is purchased outright, you have purchased a flat, okay, then it has a different treatment. And if you have purchased a property under construction, it will have different impact, right? So if you are purchasing a property under construction, GST will be payable. And if you are purchasing the flat outright, completed a property, if you are purchasing, then no GST. Simple. If you are purchasing a completed property, then you are purchasing a immovable property, na? If you are purchasing a completed property, you are purchasing a immovable property, no GST. If you are purchasing a property under construction, right, then in short, you are taking services. You are not purchasing a property, you are taking services, right? So that's why it will be coming under GST then. That's why completed flats, the builders advertise that we are selling the flat and we are not charging GST. Because you are not supposed to charge GST. Okay, they just mislead you that we are selling the buildings and we are not charging GST, because a completed building cannot be sold with GST. Okay, completed building becomes immovable property. That's why no GST. Okay. Guys, do you want to just quickly go through the definitions? I know this is taking additional time, but since it's the last day. Yes.
What is the difference between this construction and works contract?
Works contract means what? Works contract means I am giving a contract to someone. I am giving a contract to someone to get my property constructed. Okay, I'm outsourcing. If I outsource any of my work, that becomes a works contract. Correct? Understood?
If
So
I'm
just
taking
first,
a building which is under construction, which is constructing, that will not come under works contract.
no, because then the builder is constructing and he's selling to everyone. Na? Builder is constructing and he's selling to everyone. So that is not works contract. If you hire a builder just to construct your own building, right, then you wanted to construct a building, but you don't know how to construct it. So that's why you have hired a builder for that service. So that will become works contract. That will become works contract. Understood the difference?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, all other rules and valuations, you just go through the valuation rules, is the same thing. That what happens for identical goods, what happens for the similar goods. Okay, the basic gist of it I have given. Okay, so additional whatever bare act your professor has given, we are not going to do that in revision session. Huh? You just go through it. If there is a doubt, you can ask me. Okay, the basic gist of all additional rules I have given to you. Yes, I will share. Yes, audio summary recordings also I'll do. I'll also start sharing audio summary recordings. Even I have forgotten, no one reminded me for audio recordings. So I'll do that. For important theoretical concepts, I'll do. Like for import procedure, I'll share it for export procedure. I'll share for what? Your warehousing. Okay. And what about definitions? Do you want to go through the definitions quickly, guys? It will take 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, since it's the last lecture, we can take it for 2 hours. Na? Very simple. Definitions are very simple. Huh?
I have a doubt in the composite supply.
Huh.
So you said supplier pays GST, yeah, as a percentage of the annual turnover, right?
Correct. So
Like
in that case, what happens when you are filing GSTR 4 for composition scheme? You are asking, na? Not for composite supply.
Yeah. No, in composite supply, here it said that he collects reduced GST from his customers, and then he pays GST as a part of his annual turnover, as a percentage of his annual turnover. So I didn't understand that part.
Okay. See, in case of composition scheme, let me just open up the Excel. In case of composition scheme dealer, that dealer gives GSTR 4, right? If you guys remember, composition scheme dealer gives GSTR 4, correct? And this entire concept of composition scheme is depend upon the concept of turnover. What is the limit? What is the limit for composition scheme? Turnover is less than, in normal states like Maharashtra, if turnover is less than 1.5 crores, right? Then you are under a composition scheme dealer. Okay, so let us say this dealer, Mr. A of Maharashtra. Okay, why Maharashtra? Because I'm taking normal state. Okay, Mr. A of Maharashtra has a turnover, annual turnover of, let us say, 1.2 crores, 1.2 crores, right? So that is under 1.5 crores. So here, since turnover is less than 1.5 crore, Mr. A becomes composition scheme dealer. Now, while filing GSTR 4, there is no concept of output GST minus input GST, therefore GST payable. Correct, na? Because composition scheme dealer does not get ITC. Composition scheme does not get ITC. So there is no concept of output GST minus input GST, therefore GST payable. So while filing GSTR 4, GST payable will be how much? GST payable will be whatever is the reduced GST percentage, correct, into annual turnover. That's it. So GST payable while filing GSTR 4, we cannot do it with the concept of output GST minus input GST, therefore actual tax payable. We cannot use that concept for composition scheme dealer. We have to directly do
GST that's collected, the reduced GST collected from customers.
Correct, reduced GST percentage. That is the reduced GST percentage. That will be, we saw that list now. For manufacturer, it is different. For restaurant services, it's different. Got it? Okay. Next. Can you send problems for practice? Yes, now that we have finished with the syllabus, I'll send problems for practice also. Or you can do the problems sent by your professor, na? College professor. You can start doing those, the question banks. And then if there is a doubt in that, you can ask me. All right. Let us go through the definitions now. Okay. So definition, like I said in the first lecture, any definitions will be always in the section 2 of the act, right? So section 2 of Customs Act 1962. Custom area. Custom area means what? When goods are brought to India, they will be kept by the customs officer in custom area. Okay, so unless the stamp of clearance for home consumption, if you guys remember, unless the stamp for clearance for home consumption is issued, the goods will remain in the custody of customs officer in the custom area. So custom area means customs airport, custom port, or custom station, vehicle station. Okay, so that will be your custom area. It means the area of custom station, and includes any area in which imported goods or exported goods are ordinarily kept before clearance by the custom authority. All right, next. Custom port. Custom port means what? It means any port under clause A of section 7 to be a custom port and includes a place appointed by clause A. Okay, such kind of definition I don't think you guys will be asked. Okay, so the doubt is 30 days limit applies here. Which 30 days limit? So it will be kept in custom station up to 30 days, right? It will be kept in the custom station up to 30 days. Okay. So basically, see, custom station includes these three things: custom port, custom station, and custom airport. So if you are importing the goods from air, then it will go in custom airport. Okay. If you are bringing the goods through courier, if you are bringing the goods through land, okay, it will go in under custom station. Okay. And if you are bringing them through water, it will go under custom port. All right. Next, Indian customs waters we have defined. So in GST it is 12 nautical miles, and in customs it will extend up to 24 nautical miles. They have given 1 nautical mile is equal to 1.1515 miles or 1.853 kilometers. So this you can add additionally in your definitions. This you can add additionally in your definition. You guys already know that basic customs water is 12 nautical miles. Okay, so that is your baseline. From baseline 12 nautical miles. Okay, so that is for GST purpose, and then additional for customs purpose it will be extending up to total of 24 nautical miles from the baseline, and 1 nautical mile is these. You can write these measures also. Okay, now in customs water, what a custom officer can do? Custom officer can arrest any person in the custom water. Custom officer can stop, search any vessel in the custom water. Okay, and custom officer can also confiscate the vessel in the territorial waters. Okay, but once your vessel crosses the 24 nautical miles, the custom officer loses all these powers. Right? So the power of stop, search, seize, and arrest. Seize means confiscate. Stop, search, seize, and arrest. Okay, these are the 4 powers of the customs officer in the Indian territorial waters. Okay, next, land customs station. Again the same thing. If you are traveling through land route, if you are traveling through vehicle, you are bringing the goods through vehicle, it will be under land custom station. Okay, prohibited goods. I have given a list that some goods are not allowed to be imported or exported, and I have given a list of reasons why government does not allow these. So you can just write prohibited goods means any goods the import or export of which is under the prohibition, and it can be for any of the following reasons. You can list down 4 to 5 reasons out of that big list. Okay, now smuggling means what? Smuggling means bringing the goods into India without proper custom procedure. Okay, if you are bringing the goods into India without following import procedure, you will be charged under smuggling, and your goods will be liable for confiscation. Okay, your goods will be liable for confiscation. Okay, tariff value. Tariff value is the assessable value or deductive value or computed value. It means any valuation method, irrespective of any valuation method used. Tariff value is the value on which duty will be charged. Okay, shipping bill we have done in detail in the this thing in our export procedure. Just remember the colors of the shipping bill. Just remember the colors of the shipping bill for multiple choice questions. Okay, next, warehoused goods means goods deposited in a warehouse. We have done that. Section 57 for private warehouse and section 58 for section 57 for public warehouse and section 58 for private warehouse. Okay, so goods which are deposited in any kind of warehouse will be called as warehoused goods. Import means what? Bringing into India from a place outside India, that is import. I think these are simple definitions. Okay, now guys pay attention. Import means bringing into India from a place outside India, and imported goods means what? Goods brought into India from a place outside India, but does not include goods which have been cleared for home consumption. Means these are dutiable goods. Imported goods means what? They are brought into India and they are still in the custom stations. They have not been cleared for home consumption. You will have to write this sentence. You will have to write this sentence in imported goods. They have been brought into India and they are right now in the custom stations and they have not been cleared for home consumption. Same way, export goods, same logic. It is goods which are to be taken out of India to a place outside India. Market price, this is for valuation purpose. Market price in relation to any goods means the wholesale price of the goods in the ordinary course of trade in India. Ordinary course of trade means the market value, right? It means the wholesale price of the goods in ordinary course of trade in India. Duty, I just explained today all the duties. basic duty, BCD. Okay, these special additional duties are being replaced by IGST. Yeah, see here also it is given. These special additional duties are being replaced by IGST. Okay, so point number B, C, and D are no longer there. Huh? Point number B, C, and D are no longer there. They have been replaced by IGST. Protective duty I explained today. Countervailing duty I explained today on subsidized goods, and anti-dumping duty I explained today on dumped goods. Example of China. Okay, and export duty will be only in certain cases. Export duty is not charged by the government of India, but in some specific cases, sometimes if the government wants to discourage the export, government will charge export duty. Like some goods, for example, guys pay attention. Huh? If some goods, the supply of which has reduced drastically in India, the supply in India has reduced. The government does not want these goods to go outside India. In that case, government will charge export duty. Okay, next. Dutiable goods. Dutiable goods means they are imported, they are subject to duty, but duty has not been yet paid. Okay, they are chargeable to duty. They have been imported, they are supposed to be, the duty has supposed to be paid, but till now at this point the duty has not been paid. So that's why they are becoming dutiable goods. The goods which are chargeable to duty, but duty has not yet been paid. Important definition. Huh? Dutiable goods definition is important. Imported goods definition is important. Territorial waters definitions is important. Okay. Next, entry. Entry means bill of entry. Entry means the entry which is made in bill of entry, shipping bill, bill of export. Okay. So whenever you make detailed description of your goods in any kind of document, the document can be bill of entry, the document can be shipping bill, bill of export, right? If you are making description of goods in any of these bills, it will be called as entry. Okay. Export, that's okay. Conveyance is also okay. Conveyance means includes vessel, aircraft, or vehicle. Okay. Notified date. So see guys, what happens if there is any change in rules? If there is any change in rules, government issues a notification under a special gazette, under an official gazette, not special gazette, sorry. Government will issue a notification under official gazette. Okay. And the notification will be for specified goods and for a specified date. Okay. So the date in the notification will be called as notified date, and the goods in the notification will be called as notified goods. Government issues notifications only if it wants to make amendment in the Custom Act. Okay. Government will issue a notification only if it wants to make amendments, make changes in the act. That time it will make notification, and in that notification it has to specify the goods and it has to specify the date. Is this clear? Next, bill of entry, bill of export we have done in our import export procedure. Baggage we have done. So baggage includes unaccompanied baggage but does not include motor vehicle. If you bring motor vehicle along with you on a ship, it will not be considered as a baggage. It has a significant amount. It will not be considered as baggage. It will go in normal import procedure. So baggage includes accompanied baggage, that is one which you carry in your hand. Unaccompanied baggage means one which you have in your this thing, checked in goods, check-in baggage, right? But it does not include motor vehicle. Baggage rules we have done separately. Coastal goods. Coastal goods means goods other than imported goods transported in a vessel from one port in India to another. Now this is an important definition, guys. Coastal goods are not subject to duty. Coastal goods are completely different from import. For example, I am transferring goods from Mumbai to Chennai, Mumbai in Maharashtra to Chennai in Tamil Nadu. I am transporting through ship, correct? Why do I need to pay duty on that? I don't need to pay duty on that because it is transferred from India to India, right? So those will be called as coastal goods. No import duty, yeah? No import duty whatsoever. So no export or import is involved. Okay, no export or import is involved. All right. Now guys, pay attention. Huh? I'll ask you a question. You guys tell me. A ship left from India. A ship left from Mumbai in India. Okay, and it reached to Chennai in India. Okay, it was carrying coastal goods. However, while transporting from Mumbai to Chennai, the ship crossed 24 nautical miles and came back to India. Will it be considered as import? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, because once you cross Indian territorial waters, it will, and you come back, then you are coming from a place outside India, and it will be considered as import. All import procedures will be levied on you. So by mistake, you went out of 24 nautical miles. Okay, it will still be considered import. All right. And person in charge, that we have done in import procedure step 1. Person in charge for vessel, it is the master, that is captain of the vessel. For aircraft is the pilot in charge. Okay. If it is coming through land, it can come through railway or vehicle. So if it is through railway, then the conductor or the guard is the person in charge. And if it is coming through vehicle, then the driver is the person in charge. Done. All definitions done. All right. So technically we come to the end of our revision batch. Okay. We have come to the end of our revision batch. Whatever extra is there, I will be doing as a favor to you guys. Okay. So there is no compulsion to sit for that marathon lecture. Okay. No compulsion to sit for that marathon lecture. Okay. If you guys want, if you guys are able, then only you guys can come. It's optional. Done then. Done. And any doubt, you guys can ask me on WhatsApp, no problem. Huh? If there is any doubt, you guys can ask me on WhatsApp, no problem. Send me the screenshot, send me the image, okay, or send me the text, no problem. I'll address your doubt. Sometimes I'll not address it immediately, okay, because I have other lectures also, but then within a day I'll address your doubts. All right. And about the recordings, I'll upload the recording. I'll upload the recordings. All video recordings I'm going to upload. Okay. I was not going to upload them, but I'll upload it. Okay. Anyway, because till next year, there will be no other students, right? So I'll upload all the video recordings, right? Okay. No problem, guys. No problem. You're all welcome. I do take accounts revision class, but right now I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to take other revision classes. All right. So let's end this session, guys. Let's end this session and keep in touch. Okay. If you have any doubt, you guys can just ask me on WhatsApp. No problem. I'll address it over there. Okay. So let's end the meeting and we'll directly meet on what date, guys? 4th. 4th. Okay. 4th May, we'll meet on 4th May. Let us discuss the timing on 3rd May. Okay. 4th May timing, let us discuss it on 3rd May. And 4th May, it will not be recorded. 4th May sessions will not be recorded. Okay. If you want someone to record it, ask them to do the audio recording. Okay. If you can't come and if you want the recording, ask someone to do the audio recording of the class and send you 20 minutes wala recording. All right. So I'll end the session and I'll upload all the video records and I'll send you once they are uploaded. I'll send the link on the group only. Okay. I'll make a playlist. I'll make a day-wise playlist and I'll send the link of the playlist. Okay. I'm ending the meeting. Bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Okay.